Launch back here at Consensus 2025 in beautiful Toronto, Canada, and I am joined by the Chief Commercial Officer of Hex Trust. It is Calvin Shen. It's great to see you. Quite the vibe here in Toronto, right?
Absolutely. Well, first, thanks for having me.
The honor and pleasure is mine. I'm really looking forward to talking to you because you have an incredible story, an incredible journey you guys are on at Hex Trust, and I want to give you a chance to let people know because I know you're very well known in Asia Pacific. You're getting to become really well known in North America and beyond, but it's important that you're known everywhere. So tell us about Hex Trust and the story.
Absolutely. Well, first, we started a company in 2018 to bring digital asset to the masses, to the institutional clients all over the world. Now, keep in mind, 2018 was absolutely wild, wild west.
Oh, yes, it was.
For digital assets. So
pre-pandemic.
Exactly. And for us to think about, we believe in digital asset is the future of finance. And we believe that financial institutions, the BlackRock of the world, will come into digital asset once they realize the beauty of the blockchain technology and why this is the future of the digital economy. But the first way to get into this digital asset class is through custody.
Right.
And so we are actually one of the pioneers to launch a digital asset custody business in Hong Kong back in 2018. And we've been doing this ever since then.
It's incredible because, like you mentioned, it was the Wild West, and now we're here in the fourth consensus. Institutional adoption is a big discussion point. The legitimacy of this space, and it's people like you that were there 2018, 2019, even before then, that are driving this. When you see, we're all connected. And obviously, I know you obviously are very well known in Asia Pacific, and we just talked about how you want to, it's obviously you're a global brand. What do you think is the most important thing for people to know, obviously about Hex Trust, but about where this is going, because everything is connected, Calvin.
Yes.
And I think it's important people understand that.
Absolutely. I mean, when we say we started in Hong Kong, to your point, we have clients all over the world, right? This class we know is borderless. So just from a physicality perspective, we have offices now in Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Italy, and France.
Can I come visit all those offices?
Absolutely.
I want to do a tour.
Anytime, you just let us know. So we started, and by the way, all the jurisdictions I just mentioned were either regulated, licensed, or registered with the local authority. Because again, we target institutional clients all over the world. So one noticeable piece you're missing, that you missed from what I just said, is the North American side of things, which is part of the reason why I'm out here for this week. The reality is, in the prior administration, the U.S. administration, we know was not the most favorable to our industry. Right. Needless to say, that changed over the past 6 months or so. So while we have strong presence in Asia Pacific, Middle East, and in Europe as as part of our strategic design, at the end of the day, this market in the U.S. and the North American is something that we cannot miss, and that's part of the reason why I'm out here today.
Well, we're super glad you're here because that is important. There's no way to necessarily know exactly how things are going to work out, but I think you brought up a very important point about this new administration being digital asset crypto friendly, understanding that the train has, not that we want to leave people behind, Calvin, the train's left the station, it's going. Maybe inspiration's not the right word, but obviously you know how things are working in Asia Pacific, you just mentioned that. When it comes to North America, how I mentioned we're all connected, could this lead to maybe North America leading and everyone following, or inspire, whatever the word we want to use is? How do you see that all coming together if the United States and North America really start putting their foot forward?
Yeah. At the end of the day, North America, you have the deepest capital.
Right.
You have the largest financial capital in the world. So needless to say that when they now, the engine's on, it's going 100% full speed. However, Asia has had its start for many years where the innovation is. The DeFi,
there's a lot of great things going on in Asia.
So I wouldn't say it's we're going to be the U.S. I would say in the beginning it's going to have to catch up a little bit. Now, we don't have the equivalent of the BlackRock ETF of the world. That will lead with large institutional coming in. The innovation though, with a little bit more DeFi, staking, restaking, and all fun stuff, Asia and Dubai will be leading the way. I would say that for example in Singapore, the regulators established a digital asset framework since 2019. So very transparent regulatory framework. Dubai on Devara actually came to the mix about 2-3 years ago. Also very regulatory framework. So US right now, while people are very excited, you have the Genius Act that hasn't passed yet, but expected to pass.
It's getting close.
It's getting close, but at the end of the day, there's no signing on the dotted line yet. So until that's done, Asia Pacific, the middle, in the East, is still going to continue to lead the way with innovation.
Let's talk about, and I love looking forward, and obviously there's a lot of positive energy here. You obviously are someone that knows this space so well. When you look 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, let's say things keep happening in North America the way we want them to in this industry, and obviously, as you mentioned, you are very well respected and known and started in 2018 in your market. Where could this go? How do you want Hex Trust to be, shaking out and part of that?
Absolutely. You heard me say the word custodian because that's what the market was. That's what the needs were back in 2018. These days, people don't want to just hold on to their digital assets because now the market has grown leaps and bounds over the past 7 years and continue the next 3 to 5 years. Like I said, I believe digital assets, this is the future of digital finance. So everything at some point will be on-chain at some point, right? Tokenized securities, tokenized bond, I mean, we heard this before, but we actually see it in action today. So what does that mean? We're always going to be able to hold your digital asset in a safe and secure environment. Because again, we're regulated, compliant, and ensure custody. But people want to do what this industry has to offer. Things like staking, trading, options, structured product, DeFi access, minting, burning, NFTs, stablecoin, I can just keep going. Right?
It's endless.
Right, but the common denominator between all of that is custody or wallet, right? You have to store something on-chain first. And so that's what we built in a safe environment, and then we're offering secure access to all the cool things that our institutional clients would like to play around with.
Well, you just led into, as we call it in the business, a perfect segue. There are still people out there that are skeptical. I get it, it's fine. It's not that we want, don't want to respect people that are not believing in this yet. But I think what you just talked about, for those skeptics, what would you say? Because you're talking about being a custodian. We're talking about, institutional adoption. We're talking about this train going to amazing places. The people that are, my dad's like, crypto, I don't want to be Bitcoin. What would you say to the skeptics out there? With respect, we don't want to leave them behind, but we want them to understand the train has left the station. What would you say to the skeptics?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you want to talk to an average pensioner, right, if you look at their 401k portfolio, maybe there's some stocks and bonds in there, probably. Oh, by the way, who are the issuer of them? Probably the BlackRock, the Fidelity, right. The Charles Schwab. You've already believed them. Now that they have, a Bitcoin, what's changed? It's just a different instrument, right? Done by the same issuer. They've done their due diligence because they're regulated under SEC about investor protection. The service provider industry has grown leaps and bounds over the past 10 years or so. So what's so different about Bitcoin as an instrument versus your Apple stock or other types of assets? It's just another instrument for you to get exposure to. Now, for example, there's a lot of wealth managers that's now even recommending that everybody should think about a potential 3 to 5% of allocation to something like a Bitcoin, right? As an example. Right. The reality is, you cannot think about, if you don't allocate to alternative assets or such thing as digital asset, you just might get left behind. And that will be your call.
And we don't want that to happen, but people need to understand.
Exactly.
Calvin Shen, the Chief Commercial Officer for Hex Trust, keep fighting the good fight. You're doing incredible stuff. And I want to make sure everyone in North America knows what Hex Trust is all about. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Honors all.